Okay, hello YouTube. My name is Tamika Morris. I'm new to YouTube, as you can see. So I decided to start a YouTube. Actually, been wanting to do a YouTube for a very long time, for about 2 years. If you guys hear any noise in the background, because I'm in my car. There's nowhere in my home right now to do a peaceful YouTube video. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I've been wanting to do a YouTube for a very long time now. Um, actually, I have been nervous to do it. Um, Thinking that I wouldn't get any views or anything like that, or it just wouldn't work out. Um, so today I actually was watching a YouTube live. Shout out to Angie in real life. She gave me a lot of encouraging words. She encouraged me big time too. I'm just like, okay, you know what? Forget it. I'm just gonna go ahead and do what I gotta do. Like she said, just do it like Nike. And her mother, rest in peace, she has a saying that she says, which is live, baby, live. And when she said that, I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna live, baby, live. So I decided to go ahead and start my YouTube channel today. Yay! Um, I currently live in Delaware. I have 5 children. Today, I decided I wanted to do a vlog on my my last two births that I gave. My last two little girls. I wanted to tell the stories because they're like super amazing. Um, so we're gonna start with my 1 year old. Her name is Tamaya. Um, Tamaya was a surprise pregnancy. I In 2011 I had a miscarriage. Um, I already had 2 children prior to that miscarriage. My 2 boys, Timothy and Dino. But me and my husband was trying to have a little girl together. So in 2011 I got pregnant. Unfortunately, at 2.5 months I lost that baby. For 8 years, my husband and I tried and tried and tried to conceive a baby, and it just seemed like nothing was working or anything. So I decided to get weight loss surgery. I got a gastric sleeve. um Not even 3 months after I got the sleeve, I got pregnant with my baby girl, with Tamaya. And I would never forget, um I had graduated from cosmetology school on the 20 mm, I believe it was the 28th, because the next day was my husband's birthday. And I found out that following Monday, on Halloween, that I was pregnant. I would never forget. I went and bought the test. I took my husband to the gym and dropped him off. And I went to my sister Takia house. And she was like, "What you doing?" And I was like, "I'm about to take this pregnancy test." And she was like, "You think you're pregnant?" And I was like, "Girl, yeah." But prior to, I had always thought I would take pregnancy tests thinking I'm pregnant, but I never was. So when I took this test, I was like super duper nervous because I didn't want to see any more negatives. I got tired of seeing negatives. So I remember I took the test and everything, and I seen the positive, and I just like started screaming and shaking and crying. And my sister ran upstairs, was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" I was like, "I'm pregnant." I was screaming and stuff. I called people, my family, my husband, and told everybody I was pregnant. So let's fast forward to the day I went to labor. Um, because that's what actually this story was supposed to be about. But I had to give a little history on it. So, on July 3rd of 2017, my family and I got up, got dressed, and went to this water park called Killings Pond in Felton, Delaware. And I will never forget, I was standing in line waiting um, to get into the park. And I remember I seen one of my schoolmates, one of the barbers that went to cosmetology school with me. And he was like, "Girl, you're going to end up going to labor standing in this line." And I was like, "I'm ready." So, but anyways, get past that. We were in the pool. I was in the pool for 3 hours that day. 3 hours, okay? I did not feel not one contraction. And I honestly believe it. well, my doctor told me it was because I was in water, and water actually soothes your contractions so you don't feel anything. But I remember when I got out the pool, I went walking towards my husband and I felt the contractions coming. And I was like, oh God, I think I'm in labor. I'm not sure. But then I'm like, man, could be Braxton Hicks. And for those of you who don't know what the Braxton Hicks are, they are actually false contractions. Here comes Timothy.
What's up?
This is Timothy, guys, my 10-year-old. I'm telling them the story about when I went to labor with Tamaya.
Tamaya or Hope?
Tamaya.
Oh.
I'm going to tell Hope's in a minute. So, anyway, we had left Killings Pond, and can you stop moving the car? Stay still. So we went to Killings Pond, and we actually were getting ready to leave Killings Pond. We left Killings Pond. We went home to change our clothes and get dressed because we were going out to dinner. I remember changing my clothes and stuff. I was sitting on the couch putting on my shoes, and my oldest son was actually sitting next to me, and I had a contraction, and I squeezed his leg so hard, and he was like, Mom. And I was like, I'm sorry, son. So then I remember my husband telling our children, he was like, guys, it's like we're going to have dinner at Kent General today. Kent General, you guys don't know, that's our hospital here in Delaware, and in Dover, Delaware. And he was like, we're going to end up having dinner at Kent General because your mom's in labor. I'm like, I'm not in labor. We're going to Stargate. Stargate is the restaurant, and it's a restaurant in Harrington. And I was craving a cheesesteak from there that day. And so we left. Everybody left. We left. We went and stopped at Royal Farmers to get gas and stuff. As I was driving, my husband was actually timing my contractions, and I didn't know. And he was like, wife, your contractions are 5 minutes apart. And I look at him and I'm like, how do you know how far apart my contractions are? How do you even know I'm having a contraction? Excuse me. And he said, because you literally just went from 55 to 75 out of nowhere. So you're having a contraction. So we get to Stargate. I remember I got out the car, had another contraction. I'm standing at the door, just holding the door. And he's just looking at me, and I'm like, I'm fine. Just don't worry about it. So we go in the restaurant and sit down. We got as far as ordering our meals and getting our drinks. And I was eating a piece of bread I would never forget. And I had another contraction. And my husband looked at me, and I'm like, don't worry about it. That's exactly what I said. I said, don't worry about it. If I don't tell you my water breaks, there's nothing to worry about. And like not even a minute after I said that, I felt a pop and felt water. And I was like, husband, my water broke. And he was like, what? I was like, my water broke. And he just was like, okay, what do we do? And I'm like, okay, call the doctor. So the ambulance came and everything. They got me on a stretcher. Mind you, I'm crying like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. Everybody's in the restaurant. I was like, why are you embarrassed? You're having a baby. Don't be embarrassed. They were like all happy and stuff for me and stuff. So then at this point, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. My husband's not going to be able to go to the hospital with me right now because we have our other children. Someone has to come get them. So I'm in labor, study trying to figure out who's going to come get my kids from this restaurant. All the way from Harrington to Dover, I kept yelling, oh my gosh, I have to push. And I would never forget the EMT, the lady, she was like, please don't push. So I looked at her like, what? Aren't you trained to deliver a baby? She was like, yeah, but you will be the first person I do. I'm like, well, you might as well get ready because, I feel as though I have to push. Thank God I made it to the hospital. We made it upstairs to labor and delivery. I got as far as getting off the bed, getting my nightgown on, and they went to go strap the heart monitor onto my stomach to monitor the baby's heart. And all I said was, oh my gosh, I gotta push. So my nurse told the other nurse, she was like, can you check her and see how far she is? So the nurse that checked me, she was a light-skinned lady. And she checked me, and her eyes was like, and she turned pale. And all I heard was, that's a foot. And I just was like, a foot? She didn't even look at me in my face or anything. She looked right past me and was like, it's a foot. So the other nurse came and checked me. She was like, yeah, she's 2 feet down. And I'm like, 2 feet down? So I'm scared because at this point, there's no way they can do an emergency C-section on me because it's time for me to push. So I'm like, oh my God. Lord, please. So I kid you not, I called on Jesus the whole time. I know I lit Liberty Delivery up that day. Push comes to shove, I pushed my baby girl out, and she was beautiful. My husband missed the labor because our daughter came just like that. Like, she came so fast, and everything, she was fine. Everything was good. Till this day, she's great. She's very ornery. I'm gonna say that she's very ornery, you know, but and very
Abusive.
that's because she abuses him. But she's so rambunctious. She's actually me. She looks like her dad, but she's a mini me. And, you know, I thank God for her making it to this earth safe. I thank God for keeping us safe, because anything could have happened in that moment. Something could have happened to her. Anything could happen to me. She had to get ultrasounds done on her hip, because it's when little girls come out feet first, it's they could have broken hip bones, or they could have hip issues. I thank God that, you know, there's nothing wrong with my baby. I wish she was up right now. I'll put her on camera so you guys can see her. She's sleeping right now. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Because that girl's crazy. So, yeah, you know, I thank God for that, because, like I said, she was my surprise pregnancy. So then when Tamaya was about 7.5, 8 months, I found out I'm pregnant again. And I just was like, oh my God, I'm not trying to have no more kids. I didn't want no more children. I was good. I had my 2 boys and my little girl. I was fine. I also have a stepdaughter. She's 13. But, you know, so I was like, oh gosh, I'm pregnant again. So I wanted her to be a boy, because I wanted Tamaya to be the only girl, because I just wanted to continue, you know, to spoil on her and stuff. And that didn't stop though, because she's still spoiled rotten. But anyway, when I found out I was pregnant with her, I actually called my sister Ebony. Shout out to Ebony, Mrs. Newton, Big Family, Big Noise. That's her YouTube channel. I called her, told her I was pregnant, whatever. She already knew, because she had a dream that she was actually pregnant at the time too. She had a dream that we were going to be pregnant together. Our babies are actually 3 months apart. Anyway, so I called her, told I was pregnant, and told my husband. I actually sent him a picture of the pregnancy test while he was at work. He was happy and stuff. So, let's fast forward to her birth. So the day that I went to labor with her was 12/24/18, which was Christmas Eve. That day was actually my last day for me have my last ultrasound. Actually, I was scheduled, my due date was the 28th. I was scheduled to have and to be induced on the 26th, but the 26th, but I did not want to be getting inducements. I don't like them. So I had went to the hospital for my ultrasound. While I'm in ultrasound and everything, they do the ultrasound, and the lady in the ultrasound's like, you need to go to labor and delivery because you've been having contractions this whole time. So I'm like, oh yeah, I know. And she's like, oh really? I'm like, yep, baby number 4. She's like, you're doing really good with this. I'm like, yeah, baby number 4. Kind of sort of been there, done that. Contractions really don't bother me. So go upstairs to labor and delivery. They have me in the triage area there. And my doctor comes in, she checks me, she's like, oh no, you're 2 centimeters dilated. The baby's not ready to come yet. She's nowhere near ready to come. So I'm just like, okay, cool beans. But then I had to stay for like an hour and some change because I had to get fluids because I was dehydrated. So mind you, while I'm laying on this bed getting these fluids, I'm fine. I'm not having contractions or anything. So once it's time for me to get up, get ready to leave, I get my clothes on and stuff. And while I'm in the bathroom, I'm having contractions like crazy. But I'm just like, oh, she said I'm not in labor, so it is what it is. So mind you, prior to, I told my nurse, I was like, when I go into labor, I don't labor alone. Like, my labors happen like that. So anyway, I come out the bathroom and I talk to the nurse. She tells me my instructions and stuff, what to do when I get home. And right in front of her, I have another contraction. And she's like, I'm just like looking at her like, sis, contraction coming, sis. I think I'm in labor. Baby may be coming. But she was like, Dr. Khan said you're not in labor. That's my doctor. She's like, she said you're not in labor, so you'll be okay. And I'm just like, cool beans. Okay. So we make it, my husband and I, and Tamaya. We make it to the first floor, and I start having contractions really, really bad, to the point where someone that works there saw me and they had to put me in a wheelchair. So instead of me saying, "Come on, husband, let's go back to labor and delivery," I was like, "Nah, bruh, let's go to the car." Get in the car, I get on the driver's side, and I'm like, "So where we going, husband?" He's like, "My husband's a gym rat." He's like, "Let's go to Planet Fitness so I can get this membership." So I'm like, "Okay." The whole time we're riding to Planet Fitness, my husband's timing my contractions. And he's like, "Wife, I don't understand. They're 5 minutes apart." And he said, "You were just in the hospital bed with no contractions. I don't know what's going on." I'm like, "I don't know either, babe." So I park and I pull up, park and everything. He gets out. As soon as my husband gets out the car, my contractions start being 3 minutes apart. So at this point, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, baby coming. Time to look around." So I'm looking around the parking lot trying to find someone, a female preferably, to help me deliver my baby, just in case, it's time for me to push. Um, couldn't find nobody. When I say the parking lot was empty, it was empty. Searched all over, couldn't find nobody. That's exactly what I was going through. So I'm just sitting here like, "Oh God, please, like, what am I gonna do?" And I look over and I see my husband's getting in the car, and I'm like, "Babe, I can't drive because my contractions are 3 minutes apart." And he's just like looking at me, and I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna call my friend." So we called my friend, and then after I hung up with her, I told her to come get me from there. And after we hung up with her, I told my husband, I was like, "Call Dr. Khan, let him know I'm in labor, whatever." So he does that. As soon as he hangs up with her, I'm like, "Call 911." He's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Because I have to push." And I kid you not, this was my husband's facial expression. "Don't push." He said it like that. He was so calm. So I just looked at him like, "Bruh, whatever. You can't stop a baby from coming when it's time." So he's on the phone with the dispatch lady, and all I remember is saying, "Babe, she's coming. She's coming." I didn't even see my husband run from the passenger side, but I knew he was over there because I felt air in areas. And he said, "Oh my gosh, I see her head." And I'm like, "I have to push." And he said, "Okay, push." He said it just like that. He was so calm. I put my hands on my steering wheel, lift up, and I did one push, and she came out. And when she came out, she was crying, and she looked at her dad, and my husband was talking to her. And what touched me the most is instantly that my husband instantly started praying over our child, and it was cold outside. Mind you, it's Christmas Eve. It was so cold outside. And in that moment, I just was in awe, not at the fact that I had my baby in my car for the simple fact reason I had a baby feet first. So I went into this pregnancy like anything could happen. I was in awe at the fact that my husband delivered our baby, and he was so calm when he did it, and like he did this, like he done did this before. So, it was funny because when the EMT get there, I'm just staring like out the window, and I'm just like, just out of it. And the EMT is like, "It's okay, ma'am. People have babies in crazy places all the time." And I'm like, "No, I'm not, I'm not in awe at that." I said, "I'm in awe at the fact that my husband just delivered our child, and he did an awesome job." My husband got to cut the umbilical cord right there. Okay, hello guys, I'm back. Please excuse the lighting. I'm actually sitting in Walmart parking lot right now, waiting for my brother to come out the store. Um, I've been trying to like move my phone around to get some good lighting, but it doesn't look like it's trying to work out for me. But it is what it is. If y'all hear any noise in the background, it's my mom. She on it and stuff. She's tired, but and she's hungry. But anyway, back to the story. Where I stopped off at. My husband got to cut the umbilical cord and everything right then and there in the car. Um, After that, they put me on a stretcher and everything, and I went to the hospital. It was funny because as we got to the hospital and I was coming off the elevator on the stretcher with the baby on me, the nurse that was waiting on me while I was there, she was like, "You gotta be kidding me." And I'm like, "Yeah, girl, I told you, sis, I don't labor long. My labors are like that." So all the other nurses was just like, "You were just here." And I'm like, "Sis, listen, baby was coming and baby came." So, and then it was funny because my doctor came in the room and she was like, "What'd you do?" And I'm just like, "I didn't do anything. And I'm just looking at her like, "My husband did your job though. Can he, can get some money?" But anyway, I'm thankful and I'm grateful that my baby girl is here and she was okay. She's 100%. She's great with her little choke self. Um, so yeah, I thought, like I said, I thought I would share these stories with you guys because they're one in a million. Everybody doesn't push a baby out feet first here, as far as I know, here in America, and everybody doesn't have a baby in the car and their husband delivers it. You know, that's not rare. So I thought I would share that with you guys. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. And always remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe. And ring the little bell down there somewhere. You know where the bell is at. And you guys have a great and blessed evening. Until next time, bye. Okay, hello guys. I'm back. Please excuse the lighting. I'm actually sitting in Walmart parking lot right now, waiting for my brother to come out the store. Um, I've been trying to like move my phone around to get some good lighting, but it doesn't like it's trying to work out for me. But it is what it is. If y'all hear any noise in the background, it's my mom. She on it and stuff. She's tired, but and she's hungry. But anyway, back to the story. Where I stopped off at. My husband got to cut the umbilical cord and everything right then and there in the car. Um, After that, they put me on a stretcher and everything, and I went to the hospital. It was funny because as we got to the hospital and I was coming off the elevator on the stretcher with the baby on me, the nurse that was waiting on me while I was there, she was like, "You gotta be kidding me." And I'm like, "Yeah, girl, I told you, sis, I don't labor long. My labors are like that." So all the other nurses was just like, "You were just here." And I'm like, "Sis, listen, baby was coming and baby came." So, and then it was funny because my doctor came in the room and she was like, "What'd you do?" And I'm just like, "I didn't do anything. And I'm just looking at her like, "My husband did your job though. Can he, can get some money?" But anyway, I'm thankful and I'm grateful that my baby girl is here and she was okay. She's 100%. She's great with her little choke self. Um, so yeah, I thought, like I said, I thought I would share these stories with you guys because they're one in a million. Everybody doesn't push a baby out feet first here, as far as I know, here in America, and everybody doesn't have a baby in the car and their husband delivers it. You know, that's not rare. So I thought I would share that with you guys. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. And always remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe. And ring the little bell down there somewhere. You know where the bell is at. And you guys have a great and blessed evening. Until next time, bye.